Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Let's start our class. And thank you for joining in, even though it is a Sunday. But I think that this is not the first time you are having Sunday classes. I'm told that other mentors are also having classes on Sunday. So I hope it should not be a big issue. I'm just still looking. Where did we stop yesterday? We finished discussing about women. We started with children. We have finished discussing about the Right to Education Act 2009. And yes, from this morning, we will begin with the Child and Adolescent Labor Prohibition and Regulation Act. Very important. And yes, we should know this act in detail, especially Nagas who are especially living in urban towns like Mokokchung, Kohima, Dimapur, Chumu, because knowingly, unknowingly, we are also committing a lot of crimes against children without knowing this act. So let's see what are the crimes that we're. Let's see what the act says. Let's see what the regulations say, and let's also see where we are erring. Okay, so this Child and Adolescent Labor Prohibition and Regulation Act, it was originally passed in 1986, but there was some significant amendments in 2016 so that it is aligning with the Right to Education Act. Key provisions: complete ban under 14 years. Bacha ekta do, if that kid is under 14 years, complete ban on employing that child anywhere. Anywhere. It completely prohibits employing children under 14 years of age in any commercial occupation or process. Okay? So a child below the age of 14 cannot be employed in any commercial occupation because he has to go to school. No? RTE Act, the free and compulsory education. This ensures that they remain in school under the RTA mandate. Now, what happens to the kids between 14 to 18 years? This is the amendment in 2016, and it said that there is a new category called the adolescent category. Now, there are two, first two ido children go na children are 14 or 18 do children as only be adolescents. So for adolescents there is a new category created called adolescents, which are between 14 to 18 years. And remember here, these kids can be employed. Okay, they can be employed, but they are completely banned or barred from working in any hazardous occupation. And the act also lists down what are the hazardous occupation like mines, factories, explosive units, or hospitality setups. And the act also mentions domestic help as a hazardous occupation. So kids from 14 to 18 years are called adolescents. They cannot be employed in any hazardous occupation. Okay. Now, now to bachakan 14 years below kando kina kurbo. Kita kan korde kam kurli paru na paribo. This is the question, no? So again, the law has an answer for this. That is the there are exceptions. The first exception is Pachaikta, if he or she is under 14 years, he or she can help their immediate biological family, like their parents or siblings, in non hazardous occupation. but only after school hours or during vacations. So low bora kodo hoy bachakan bi kam do kurubu pare. Holi bi nijor laga korde he, nijor laga family laga korde he, immediate biological family laga korde he, taikan korde kam kuruli pare. But that also in non-hazardous occupation, but only after school hours or during vacations. The second is kids who are working in entertainment industry, like they are child artists in films, TV, or advertisement. They are permitted to work in the entertainment industry provided it doesn't affect your formal schooling and safety. So this is for under 14. I hope that is clear. Now, what is the punishment for employers? If any employers violates this law, it is a cognizable offense, meaning police can arrest without a warrant, and employers face mandatory jail time up to 6 months to 2 years or a fine of 20,000 to 50,000. Okay, so this is about the Child and Adolescents Labor Prohibition and Regulation Act. Now let's look at some questions from Nagaland. Na? तो नागालैंड दी तो मुकान कोनोबा घुब पारे ठीक আছে मुकान तो एम्प्लॉय तो नकरे बाच्चा कानगे মই কান তো বাচ্চা কানगे एजुकेशन दे मुकान बाच्चा कान तो मरम करना कोडे रखे राइट निजोर लगा बाच्चा निशिना है मुकान तो ताकान के ट्रीट करे आजे now what does the law says about this? Is it a crime now? Because they are not employed. The kids under 14 years are living in somebody's house working as a domestic help, but that kid is going to school, that kid is receiving all the love and affection maybe. Also for 14 and 18 years, same thing. He or she is also going to school doing the same thing. So is it a crime? And we have this. There are more than 10,000 kids like this in Nagaland who are living in different households and different towns and cities. And this practice has been there for several years. So the question is this a crime under the eyes of the law, based on what we have discussed? Please tell me. Yes. Why? Why? The, if it is a crime, why? The reason why is we cannot use this excuse. Education dia ase, morom kore ase, nijor laga bacha nishina treat kore ase. Yes, there are so many genuine cases like this. I'm not saying that mistreat kore ase so manu ginega bi koa noy, but unless you have legally adopted that child as your own child, na, keeping a child below the age of 18 years at your home as a domestic help indirectly in the name of providing education is still a crime. Why? Let's see. So this is what I was talking about. Taking a child from the village, sending them to school, and having them to do household work instead of paying a cash salary is a cultural practice in Nagaland. However, under Indian law, this setup is legally classified as child domestic labor. Okay? The thing that is going on in Nagaland is called child domestic labor, and it is strictly banned by the law. And the going to school exemption does not apply because many people assume that since the child is going to school, the arrangement is legal. And yes, the act also talks about kids should be allowed to help at home after school hours, right? However, the act says that only at their biological family laga korde ase. Alak manuwa korde no hai, right? It only applies to the child's immediate biological family, right? Like parents, siblings, or immediate uncles or aunties. Helping in a family-run business, okay? A private employer's home is not a family enterprise, okay? And for children under 14 years, there is a blanket ban. No child under 14 can be employed as a domestic servant under any circumstances, regardless of whether they are sent to school or not. And for adolescents from 14 to 18 years, yes, you can say that the law permits, but domestic work is classified as a hazardous occupation as per the act. Okay, you cannot pay money to an adolescent to work as a domestic help because domestic help is classified as a hazardous occupation. So because of this classification, employing any minor under 18 for full-time household work is completely prohibited. So all the domestic help in Nagaland, whether they are going to school or not, whether they are getting a salary or not under the age of 18 years, it is actually a crime. Now somebody will argue that yeah, yeah, before that, I mean we pacakan to school di patay ase. Ini orang mukan bisi advantage loy na. But the government says that education is free and compulsory till 14 years, right? It is a fundamental right. So sending a child to school is not considered a philanthropic bonus given by an employer because every child under the age of 6 to 14 years has absolute right to free and compulsory education provided by the state. So an employer, a family cannot treat this access to basic school education as a wage or a valid justification to put a minor to work. Because tayo apuni ito bacha ke school di napaili bi government do tai ki free and compulsory education to pailo tibuli ase. And by sending that kid to school, it's not that you are spending money from your pocket also. So government were free as because 99% of such kids are sent to government schools. Even if they are sent to private schools, you cannot argue that, oh, I'm spending so much money by sending this kid to a private school. You can say like that, but you are still wrong because domestic help is a hazardous occupation and no child under the age of 14 years can be employed in any house. Now, what about 14 to 18 years? Again, for 14 to 18 years, even if the child is over 14 years and is going to school, the government of India has explicitly stated that domestic work is a hazardous occupation. So, since adolescents are legally banned from working in hazardous sectors, keeping a school-going adolescent as a live-in or regular domestic maid remains a violation of the law. Now, look at this. In the year 2024, the National Commission for Protection of Child Rights as well as the Nagaland State Commission for Protection of Child Rights did have declared that over 11,000 children are engaged in labor in Nagaland. And some study was done in Dimapur in a colony in Dimapur alone. The survey indicated that out of 1,112 surveyed households, 264 households were keeping domestic child laborers. That means 1 in 4 households in urban areas are keeping a domestic household help. Okay, this is an alarming statistic. Now we also have Nagaland Child and Adolescent Labor Prohibition and Regulation Rules 2024, just similar to the national rule. It was like it should have been set up years back now, only in 2024 the government set up this. So it took effect only on November 30, 2024, and this act enforces the Central Child Labor Act by establishing guidelines for employment of adolescents in non-hazardous occupation and protecting children under 14 from all forms of employment. Number one, so like the Central Act says, family enterprise exemption. Children under 14 can help their family or family enterprise only if it is non-hazardous. Okay, only if it is non-hazardous. This work must occur outside school hours and never exceed 3 hours a day. But this is similar to what I was explaining in the main act. It should be only in the biological household. Takan laka family laka de. It will be non-hazardous. Our domestic help is a hazardous. So it will laka law de so it will adolescents regulation though. Employers hiring adolescents must maintain a register Form A detailing work hours, risk, periods, and nature of work to be written for 3 years. Adolescents are barred from working hazardous jobs or during night shifts between 7 p.m. to 8 a.m. So now the question is, can I employ a domestic help under this can I employ a domestic help under this adolescent regulation? Tayo school din na okay? And this person is like say 17 years. 17 years, I want to keep him as a domestic help at home. I'll pay rupees 15,000 per month. Okay, right? And I'll maintain a register. Take say the law says I will maintain a register. Form A day. I'll mention all the working hours, rest periods, and nature of work. Okay, and I'll also make sure that he is not working between 7 p.m. to 8 a.m. in the morning. So can I keep this person as a domestic help who is 17 years and I'm maintaining everything? Tell me now. We can, right? Since the law says we can employ a adolescent kid, 14 to 18 years, without sending him to school, can I employ if I follow all the rules like this? Can I? Definitely again. Is it a yes or a no? Or you don't care? I cannot? Okay. Anyone else wants to comment? But as per the law, I should be able to keep, right? He's just 17 years. He is not going to school. I'm giving him 15,000 in a month. I'm registering all the work details in the form. 7 p.m. to 8 a.m. I'm not even letting him do anything. Why can't I employ him then? If you are saying no, why can't I employ him? Please participate. RTA. But RTA is only for till 14 years, no? Free and compulsory education. The person that I want to employ is 17 years. He will not come under RTA, correct? I think we can employ. Okay. Anyone wants to add something? Somebody said, no, we cannot employ. The reason given was because of RTA, right to education. Well, maybe I do 17 years as na. Or maybe it's also, yeah, 17 years. So RTA laka reason I go. Somebody is saying, okay, I think we can employ. Now he's changing his mind. As per the act, it says that if I mention all this, we can employ. Are we For those of you who are joining the class now, we're discussing about the problem of domestic help at home. Can I employ this person? Yes. See, appearing in PSC is no longer about memorizing facts and figures. Yes, we teach the facts and figures, but at the end of the day, you have to develop your art of reasoning. Art of reasoning. I think we can employ. Yes. What about the rest of you? I think if he or she is willing to work, I think we can employ. Okay, see, the answer is you cannot employ. Even if you are paying him 20,000, 30,000, you cannot employ him as a domestic help, even if he is 17 years, even if you are maintaining the register, even if you are not letting him work from 7 p.m. to 8 a.m. Why? Because, why can't you tell me the answer? I've been telling you this all morning. Why? The answer is because domestic help is a hazardous working condition. That is what the Act says, right? And the Act says that adolescents are barred from working hazardous jobs. Hazardous jobs like listed, domestic help is listed. Which is an idea. That is why no matter what kind of arguments you bring to all the families in Nagaland, you can bring that you are praying for him, you are giving him love, you are giving him this and that. Yes, there are so many genuine cases. Yes, you are providing everything. You're looking up to the parents in the village. You're sending him to a private school, right? You're giving him a plenty of salary. Take us here. But the law says that it is illegal to employ a person, an adolescent, as a domestic help, right? Now, then what about he's 17 years again? I'm not employing him as a domestic help. I'm I need a driver for my vehicle. Nah, I need a driver for my vehicle. So I'm employing him as a driver. I'm employing him as a driver only. Aro taido tala korbra heavily to turaze to mula korde ene extra core tenants kan taigule tadi takibuli jaze and he's simply driving my vehicle. Okay, korde kam ekona. He's not a domestic help. He's simply a driver for my vehicle. I'm paying him 20,000 or 10,000 or 15,000. Can I employ him? Now we can employ him. Correct? Because even though he is an adolescent, he doesn't come under the category of hazardous job. Driving is not a hazardous job. Yes or no? He's not a hazardous job. You cannot we cannot employ even the driver. Why?
Because the age limit to be a
Yes,
driver
correct.
is 18 years
The
old.
yes, exactly. The age limit is 18 years, right? So I'm just testing you. Okay, okay. So you have passed the test. Okay, so just let me spend 1 minute in trying to test your brain again. Let me just give you a puzzle. You are studying for the NPSC exams, okay? You're studying for the NPSC exams. You don't have inverter at home, okay? You don't have inverter at home. And so you're studying for NPSC exams at night. And then um, suddenly the light goes off, electricity is off, and you have you have three options. You have three options now, either a candle or you have a lamp, okay? or ini you have a Petromax. Wila do Petromax kona bek tata gede gas para jula laga lain na Petromax. Itu sob to itu matchstick no lighter ba light por lagi, right? Now you look inside your drawer. Drawer di China abuni matchstick. Wala sila matchstick to ekta putia ze. There's only one matchstick. Now you have a candle, you have a lamp, and you have a Petromax. Now which one will you light first?
Candle.
Candle, yeah, makes sense. Okay, candle, one vote. What about the rest of you? Okay, so I think it makes more sense, no? Somebody will light the candle, somebody will say lamp, somebody will say the Petromax, but I think the correct order should be you should first light the matchstick. After that, you can light any one of them. Okay. Now, uh, yeah, we are still discussing about the Nagaland Child and Adolescents Labor Rules 2024. Age determination is if an inspector suspects an adolescent's age. The rule outlines a medical procedure, including all this bone development best to be verified within 15 years. If during inspection na, ito adolescent's age to suspected asigoli-sigoli do na, ito laga. In compliance and enforcement, workplaces must display notices in English and local languages stating prohibitions and penalties for violating the rules. So all those are mentioned under the Nagaland rule, Nagaland Child and Adolescents Labor Prohibition and Regulation Act Rules 2024. Now, let's look into a very, very, again, important rule, act in India, which is called the Juvenile Justice, Care and Protection of Children Act 2015. And this act is like the cornerstone of child rights and justice legislation in India. There was an old act in 2000, and this 2015 act it replaced this. And now, if you go through the act, it is focus or shifting the focus from pachakando punishment no grow lagi ito azre ito na. The understanding is that pachakando punishment no grow lagi. We should give them instead of punitive measures, we should give them reform measures, rehabilitation, and social reintegration. So all the activities that are even done in Nagaland today, whether we have Kikogo, we have childcare institutions, we have observation homes, we have juvenile justice board, we have child welfare committee. All this are mandated under the Juvenile Justice Act 2015. So what does this act particularly say? As per this act, there are two categories of children. Categories of children who are engaged. First is children in conflict with law. So any child under the age of 18, if he is found to have committed a fraud or a crime or committed an offense, this law says that these children in conflict with law, they cannot be placed in standard police lockup or jail, nor can they be subjected to handcuffs or fetters. Pujasana, if you are 18 years, somebody might be regretting na itu low jani dagi shilo bodmas kam bishe korle azile gona na below 18 years. If you are below 18 years and you have committed an offense, the police cannot put handcuff in you. The police cannot put chains on your legs or on your hands. You cannot be kept in a police lockup. You cannot be put in a jail. Pa prepa. Ajikali do itu bang mo kwento do. Itu ulup namabu lagi wa. 18 years to itu do 18 years to itu do Ajikali laga dunia di do 18 years to tangore azo for me that but that's just my personal observation. So they are to be taken to the observation home. Every district in children in conflict with law do takan observation home. There is also a story that some kids na again itu pacakan bi teenagers kan 16, 17, 18 years kan drug users kan bi aja aro jor kora kan pisha jide town dina gang korna jor kori, right? Takon kodi jagna jor korbo and all this. There is an incident that happened some years ago. I remember. He was a notorious thief. Oh, Mikey kata gisho, and she was just so. She was an expert in stealing things. Na kuno baru tagi no hai kleptomaniac type. He cannot avoid but steal other people's things. Takan ini itu psychological problem ikta tagi na kuno ba? They just keep on stealing things and they are so expert at stealing things. To tayo do ini ka colony manukan pura tayo ki turi kina police kan ki tishi. Now she is a juvenile. She is a juvenile and hence the police cannot take him to the regular jail. To itu police kan do itu observation home di loi jai tagi je. Okay. Aro observation home di loi jai dem de kari di bohina jai dem de. Police to Pungjagina Baba Saile, the police, one of the police constable realized that Tailaga mobile phone is chor guru jaro tarandina. So so even if the kid has stolen his mobile, one ito kisauni na we're laughing a lot like but even if that police la mobile that be chor guru. But again, police cannot punish her, cannot keep her in jail because she is a juvenile. Next is the children in need of care and protection. So there are children who are abandoned, there are orphans, missing children, there are children who are victims of abuse, or there are children at risk of child marriage. Okay, these are children in need of care and protection. So the state assumes temporary guardianship to ensure that basic needs and safety are met. So 18 years nubung jadak do the state government will, or the state in a sense, not only the state government, but the government will take care of them. How? We have so many children homes in Nagaland. Okay, so most of them are getting aids, granting aids from the state. Aro itu children home de itu pacakan rakibo, and there are other child care institutions as well. Okay, so there are two categories of children: children in conflict with law and children in need of care and protection. Now, so let's look at the institutional framework. I have made a chart for us to understand this. To separate child-related cases completely from adult criminal justice, the Act mandates specific district-level bodies. We will study all this in detail later on, but for now, see, the Act says that there should be a juvenile justice board to deal with children in conflict with law. So this board should be in every district. There should be a juvenile justice board. This should be led by a judicial magistrate first class and two other social workers, which out of which one should be a woman. So it is like a child-friendly court focused on inquiry and rehabilitation rather than sentencing. Next is a child welfare committee. Every district should have a child welfare committee, and this committee will look after children in need of care and protection. And a child welfare committee is a quasi judicial body responsible for the care, protection, and institutional placement and rehabilitation of vulnerable children. There is a child welfare committee in every district, and these are not government employees. Okay, these are not like headed by TC or some other public president. This committee exists. This committee is existing in every district, and it is headed by experts from various fields. And in every district, the law mandates that there should be a special juvenile police unit, which is called SJPU. So, Special Juvenile Police Unit. So, it takes care of both children in conflict with law and children in need of care and protection. So, in police department, in every district, along with child welfare police officers, there is a juvenile special juvenile police unit. So into police unit kan brahe, into juvenile case kan do sabo. Okay. Now, but there is a clause. There is a clause because after the 2012 Nirbhaya incident, like I told you, the one of the rapists was 17 years. Ini 17 years in some months tagi show. It was like ini muy do na ido honeram I was like so he gonna low to low adena. Taido 18 years punctually. Oh look, when he committed the crime, he was not still 18 years. So he could not be tried as an adult. Aru kwanishna taido death penalty bi panai. Aru taido observation home kandi raki gina ito rehabilitation laga ki gani kori. So There was a lot of media outcry, public outcry about this. And now, itu laga haligi na 16 to 18 years, if it is a heinous crime. So one of the most heavily debated features of the 2015 Act was a departure from the absolute immunity previously granted to minors. Now, 2015, because this incident happened in 2012. Now, 2015 lagado ahana time dito. So after the 2012 nearby incident, 2015 the amend gorna ito itado 16 to 18 age provision to taliginasi. This means that if a child between 16 to 18 years commits a heinous crime. So a heinous crime would include a crime like murder or rape or crimes attracting a minimum punishment of 7 years. They can potentially be tried as an adult. The Act says that inika crime commit korsugulido itu kan do adult national try koro paribo. So this is what the law says. So itu automatically adult court ti jabo inika noy. But the Juvenile Justice Board in the district must first conduct a preliminary assessment of the child's mental and physical capacity, okay, to the ability to understand the consequences and the circumstances of the offense. Based on this, the case may be transferred to a designated children's court. Okay, so this is the extra provision. Now we have discussed about POCSO, so let's not discuss in detail because we have discussed about this yesterday. Protection of children from sexual offenses, POCSO Act 2012. So it protects children from sexual assault, harassment, and pornography. Defines a child as anyone under 18 years and introduces gender neutral offenses. So the POCSO Act mandates compulsory reporting of anyone aware of abuse, set up special courts for speedy trials, and prioritizes child-friendly procedures to prevent re-traumatization during testimony. Okay, now let's go to the next, which is called Prohibition of Child Marriage Act 2006. So the objective of this act is to eliminate child marriage. India dito na child marriage kan bihi ho jay na. So ito prohibit kurli. Nagaland dito child marriage to nai oldam nakamano kono sadi no koribo ko 30 years pungjibo sati nokorbo 33 hobo sati nokorbo ama papa la kori boibo 35 years ho jabo ikebi sati nohobo independent hobo mon jai sati koribo mon jai I want to be independent are ama baba laga kori takina to independent to nohoi to sate I mean right kiman proposal ahilibi kori chini amoso kutum hoigina proposal ahilibi sati nokorbo. That is our argument. I want to be an independent man, independent woman. Live whole life 40 years tak ama papa lothi poibo, right? Very good. So 40 years pugilbi sati nokorbo. So itiado I think we should have an act na not prohibition of child marriage holibi compulsory marriage act na kiba ekta kor lage oh compulsory marriage act by 40 na kiba ekta something should be there because mugan sati nokore. See, mugan nakamanukan sati korumon nai. And because of this, pacha napai, population is going down. Aro, in the next 50 years, can you imagine your town? Can you imagine in the next 50 years, most of our villages will be empty, number one. Second, town dibi, ido miya manukani pota tagibo. It's like, we cannot stop this. Because mugan patay na ba? Miya manukan do, ek sal di tuiba pachabi pa. January de ekta pabo, December de ekta pabo. Ini kabi pare takando. So, I'm going too far, but my point is that this act is there, but itu to Nagaland to apply nokore. And in parent district, I have been designated as a child marriage prohibition officer at the ground level. Every district should have a child marriage prohibition officer, na? So, muhi azi do child marriage prohibit probably do, but I mean, mula kambi man dunay because child marriage to no hoy na. There's no report of child marriage. So, what this act says is, magigan karni sadi korbo laga legal age to 18 years. And for male, it is 21. Okay, it is 21. If you're 20 years and you are getting married, child marriage like category di ay jabo. Okay, so butakan do 21 dak to rukibo lagi na. Iman kojai libe 21 dak to rukibi. After that, only you are legally permitted to get married. All right. So this is about prohibition of child marriage 2006. Let's go and study some very important government schemes for children. Number one is called ICDS. I'm sure you have heard about ICDS, Integrated Child Development Services. This is like ito kiba do aside do Anganwadi center di ajikali puila do biscuit kan pai do we know this no. So this was launched in 1975, like even when I was not born. And ICDS is one of the world's largest flagship program for early childhood care. So it targets children between 0 to 6 years and also pregnant and lactating mothers. So the scheme runs through the Anganwadi centers in villages and neighborhoods, and there are 6 core services packages under the ICDS program. Supplementary nutrition. Pakai kina pacakan ke kilabo lagi. Into preschool non-formal education. So this is like a preschool, no, play school nishna se Anganwadi centers kan. Actually na, it's very sad ho. Na all these things exist in paper, but reality to except for some Anganwadi center kan do, in our imagination, it is just like a small room. It's just like a small house or a small temporary nishnang tina bara punagina yellow color paint korigina Anganwadi center wana pustikan ge pusti di punagina ase. But actually, as per the schemes, it should not be like this. It should be like a proper play school where you are providing hot cooked meals to the kids, where you are giving preschool and non-formal education, where you're also giving nutrition and health education and training for mothers. Immunization drives are undertaken there, health checkups and referral services, sending sick children to hospitals. So all these are provided under the ICDS. Okay, so this is the first one. Now, for Maikikan Laga, we have studied about Mission Shakti. Now, in all the schemes, not 100%, majority of the schemes and help for women comes under Mission Shakti in a district. Pachakan lagado Mission Vatsalya koy Vatsalya. It will be English pura keep they have changed it into Mission Vatsalya. Some villages don't even have a house. It is rated how the country is moving. Now they are changing every name into Sanskrit in Hindi. If the government continues na mukan lakan naam bhi Hindi ekta dun lobo lagi Sanskrit ekta naam dun lobo lagi ini kabe ahibo pare future di na. So be ready. So Mission Vatsalya. This is the mission for. This is like the umbrella child protection scheme for kids, for children. So whether any kind of children, whether it's orphans, abandoned children, any children, like children in conflict with law or anything. So it is the scheme for children living in difficult circumstances. So some of we will study this Mechin Vatsalya. I cannot explain everything in detail because ito so explain ko I led 1 hour na. Only be pichidi ito scheme laga jaise. So because this is an important one which is active in the district, in every district in India, I'll mention that this is I'll just mention it in brief now. So pachakan dukhine ngorna pahalbra sabo ito asile metin vexala lagado na all these children in difficult circumstances. So sending a child to a child care institution is treated strictly as a last resort. So this is a core philosophy. So the mission also provides scholarship like 4,000 per month or 48,000 per month per year. So 48,000 per year scholarship through this mission to vulnerable children living with poor and extended families to cover their education and health needs. So it do active as a. And how do you avail this for children living in vulnerable conditions? You go to your district child protection unit or district child protection officer in every district. Takan lang office para. This office is responsible for implementing Mission Vatsala, and this scholarship scheme is available for them. So okay, so administrative backbone is district child protection unit and child welfare committee. So all these are the different missionaries. We will study in detail mission Vatsala and after we take a break. But before that, let's just finish all the important government schemes. The first is the ICDS, the second is mission Vatsala, and the third is PM Pushan. PM Pushan, Padran Mandri Pushan Shakti Nirman. Now, it be midday meal. You heard about midday meal. Now it is called PM Pushan. So it is a centrally sponsored scheme under the Ministry of Education. And the mandate is that 18 day, one hot cooked meal per day to all children studying in classes 1 to 8. And it has been recently extended to pre-primary and government aided schools. And so this is about midday meal scheme for kids. So the law says that minimum of 450 calories in 12 gram of protein for primary students and 700 calories in 12 gram of protein for upper primary students. So this is about the midday meal scheme, which is now known as PM Pushan. Next scheme is ito kando pahalra implement present again after the Right to Education Act, AHABGDRO. Now we have the Village Communitization Act and School Management Committee. I'm sure that these are all implemented well in various schools. Again, another scheme is there called Poshan Abhiyan. So Poshan Abhiyan is pachakan aro especially amagan na karni aze. So from a moment a child is conceived up to 2 years of age, the first 1,000 years, first 1,000 days of a child's life, when the child needs brain and body development, itu laga Poshan Abhiyan bura all this nutritional support kikan so they and ajikali do all this are integrated with apps and dashboards. Okay, all this are undertaken by social welfare department, by the CTPOs and TPOs. If you pass in PSC exam day, you will get the post of supervisor, no supervisor and CTPO. If you are appointed as supervisor and CTPO under social welfare department, you'll have to take care of Poshan Abhiyan. You'll have to take care of Poshan Abhiyan and PM Pushando Education Department for Sabo and Mission Vatsalya do District Child Protection Office for Sabo and integrated ICDS Kando, it's directly under CTPO Social Welfare Department again. Again, this is from medical department. Universal vaccination, launched in 1985. Universal vaccination, one of the most cost-effective public health intervention in the country, run under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. So the mandate is that we are to provide free vaccines to protect infants, children, and pregnant women against major vaccine preventable life-threatening diseases. So it covers vaccination for 12 life-threatening diseases, including tuberculosis, diphtheria, pertussis, tetanus, polio, measles, rubella, hepatitis B, and pneumonia. Okay, so there's also a mission Intratanush, which is carried out every month. No matter what people say, there might be various conspiracy theories. Holy be pachakan ke vaccine to dibo lage. Pachakan vaccine nediado, there are a lot of consequences for kids. So when I was posted in other districts, I saw with my own eyes measles from Manu Murado na. Pachakan measles from Murado. In one family, 24 December dekhicho. Ekta family do bacha tuita do ini mori jaise measles from. And I also saw one kid blind ho jaise sukudo because of measles. Aro ekta bacha do polio vaccine diya nai na. Aro polio vaccine diya ke na ekta do pirabo na bara. So kids can suffer kori. Kids, they don't know, and these diseases are there. So we should all cooperate and we should give vaccines to the kids. Because postikan dito na, when we are not education patient na dakatam dito, ama kandu, bacha kandu vaccine দিবলৈ মানা কৰি দিয়ে বেছিভাগ আৰু I don't know for what reasons এইটো prayer center kan na prayer warriors kan do phathana manu kan do aru ki koi do pusti de এইটো bacha kan ki vaccine na দিব লাগে vaccine dia kan do 666 আছে এইটো kan do satanic আছে right নিজৰ do vaccine লৈ কি নাই কয় যে আৰু নিজৰ do vaccine নিজৰ বি bacha dem de vaccine লৈ কি নাই নমৰে কি না এতিয়া বি professor কৰি আছে আৰু আল্লাহ bacha kan ki do vaccine na দিবি কৰনা professor কৰি আৰু তাই all these things are happening but slowly times are changing but I'm sure even in the interior places, no, we have so many issues where vaccines are not given to kids. So when vaccines are not given to kids, now the kids will like disease alak 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 pra kungji jabo tai or she will not be able to survive. Okay, why don't we see any post under social welfare department? Retire hoile post to ay na. For example, see, it's it all depends upon numbers. Now, for me, I believe life is based on numbers only. So, suppose you have assistant professor lagado, you have college in every district, and every college will have 100 assistant professors. So, for example, 100 into 100 minimum 50 go be 50 to 50 into suppose say 10 districts. So that is 500. So 500 posts na assistant professor lagado. EAC can be ESC can be kili Pulido in every district unit at least 10 ASC. So 10 into 15 district 150, right? Social welfare department laga do CTPO. CTPO do ekta district tie tinta tagibo. Na tu tinta tagichu guli do let's say 15 district 45 hi olay na post to. Bujase na. So 45 boli do takan retire holi do retire hodam di vacancy hadam di appoint kuro do na. The same thing with supervisors. So it's because vacancy no lie. Yes, let's discuss Mission Vatsalya. But maybe let's take a break now. Maybe I'll also have something and maybe we will come back within 7 8 minutes and we will start Mission Vatsalya. And if you have any questions, please ask me after we resume. Yes. So let's start with Mission Vatsalya. As per the Mission Vatsalya, there should be three state level structures for implementation and planning. And these three structures are called State Child Protection Society. The second is called, I'll not go into detail of all this, all right? I'll also share a PDF of the Mission Vatsalya. You can also go through. And we have other topics to cover. So you have your state adoption resource agency. So it was Sarah Pura, through Sarah only, we are actually legally adopting. Mukan Nagaland di bacha adopt kura do so besibag to illegally as because hospital e jabo bacha ekta lobole mun na dakakan ani kena 40 pali lobo, but these are illegal adoptions. Only be legally adopt probably though, you have to go through your state adoption resource agency, and we have state child welfare and protection committee. So these are headed by the additional chief secretary or some um, some top shots in Kohima. So these are the straight state level structures. Now in the district level, you have the deputy commissioner or the district magistrate. He is the ultimate head and supervisor of child protection in the district. So in every district, you have your child protection unit. Are you aware or not? There is a district child protection unit or district child protection unit in every district, headed by a district child protection officer. And anything related to child under the Mission Vatsalya, they implement this. So the DC will monitor the performance of the DCPU, District Child Protection Unit, the Child Welfare Committee, the Juvenile Justice Board, So next is District Child Protection Unit. It functions under the DM and it is led by the District Child Protection Officer, and it manages day-to-day implementation of the mission, inspect child care institutions like your children homes, it tracks missing children, coordinates rescue operations, and we also have a committee called District Child Welfare and Protection Committee in the district level, which is headed by the DC and other officers like the police, medical department, and so on. Now, these are the three units at the district level. Now let's look at the Juvenile Justice Board. So the Act says, as per the Juvenile Act, we should have a Juvenile Justice Board, as mentioned earlier in the class, and it should consist of 3 members, Judicial Magistrate First Class Pura, Lead Corporal, and then 2 social workers. We have a Child Welfare Committee in every district. It will consist of 5 members, 1 chairperson, and 4 other members. And we have police and community interfaces. Like mentioned, we have the special juvenile police units. In every police unit, it should be headed by the officer not below the rank of DSP, and includes all the child welfare police officers in the district. Implementation dito, ito be asina na only in Mission Vatsalya. It says that there should be block village level child welfare and protection committee at the block level. And very important, this is a new child line helpline 1098. It is very active all over the country. 1098 day abune tile koride. And you and I, we should all be responsible citizens. If you are concerned and if you can see that a child is being abused, a child is being victimized, a child is being uh, you know treated badly, there is a missing children, there is physical abuse of a child, sexual abuse of a child, even if it is your neighbor, even if it is within your own family, you we should all be aware. And today we can call 1098. 1098 they call Gorgina. They will come in, rescue the child, and it is a 24/7 automated emergency helpline number. All this distress calls that they receive, it will be redirected to the TCPUs and state juvenile police units for immediate field rescue. Okay, so that's again under the Mission Vatsalya, we have child care institutions for two category for children in need of care and protection. So we have children homes, orphanage kwado na. Actually, we are not supposed to use the word orphanage. We are supposed to use the word children homes. So takan hulibi children home dito 18 years tagi tagibu pare because children do it's by definition till 18 years only, and we also have open shelters, not so much in Nagaland but in other parts of the country, and specialist adoption agencies for adoption. Those Sara district state itaganishina. So these are for children in need of care and protection. Now for children who are in conflict with the law, we have observation homes. So in every district you'll have an observation home. Idula hostel nishina is there. Aro hostel nishina takan warden aro house father, house mother inigatagi. And these are not these are not jails, but these are just like temporary residential facilities where a juvenile is placed during the place pendency of an inquiry or trial before the GG, JGB. So here, if a child comes in conflict with the law, kung is na tayo laga trial jadam dito, tayo do jail dito na daliwo, but he will go to the observation home. Observation home di jayagi na tayo counseling dibo, tayo laga kiki kan kana pinasop say dibo, right? And there are also special homes where juvenile convicted juveniles are kept. Now observation home de tay case law time de tay observation home de tagibo. Aro case loy gina ido court pra tay do convicted hoise tay do crime to tay convict korse guli do tay do arbi jail de jabole no hoy tay time special home de jagina tagibo tay do, right? Okay, so there are also other places of safety for correctional behaviors. So these are about for children in conflict with law. Now let's look at some of the challenges of children in Nagaland. Very quickly, let's look at some of the challenges faced by children in Nagaland. Number one is nutritional challenge, because we have a lot of kids who are anemic and they are stunted. So you will see that from the National Family Health Survey that you will know that the percentage of stunted children have grown from 29 to 33%. While wasting is the medical term, too thin for their height. It saw a sharp spike from 17% to 27%. So we have a case of rising malnutrition in the state. And the children are also anemic. Nearly 43% of children aged between 6 to 59 months suffer from anemia, and there is regional imbalance because eastern districts like Kifri, Tunsang, or some other eastern districts are significantly face higher stunting rates, up to 44% compared to districts like Dimapur or Kohima. So the nutritional challenge is one challenge that we are facing in Nagaland for kids. The second is immunization. Immunization, though, we are not able to achieve 100% immunization for kids. And we have a lot of zero dose children who have not taken even a single vaccine. And yes, there are shortage of medical staff, but largely zero dose children are because of refusal to take vaccines, because the medical doctors and staff cannot force the parents to bring their child for vaccination. Next is the secondary school dropout rate. Primary school enrollment in Nagaland is universally strong because every kid, every Naga kid for that matter, we go to school, and but we will see that when the child is reaching 15 to 17 years, attendance plunges down. Okay, so there are a lot of issues of dropout cases in the state. Now, again, the gray area of domestic child labor. This is what we have been discussing. Many children from poor rural families or remote borders are sent to urban centers like Kohima and Dimapur to live with decent families or wealthier households. So in theory, this is framed as an exchange for formal education, but like we've discussed, Many of these children end up trapped as full-time domestic helpers, missing out on consistent schooling. Okay, so this is also an illegal practice. So the gray area of domestic child labor is one. Again, early exposure to substance abuse because of our porous border and because of our society. We will discuss more on this during the our class on drug abuse. But drugs are available in plenty in Nagaland. Okay, abuni nakabara we don't know, but like the network of drug abuse is Manipur, Nagaland, ito international border di takakando. There are lots of smugglers and drug use is rampant in Nagaland. And adolescents like 14 to 18 years are highly vulnerable to substance abuse. So this is another issue. Aro ito substance abuse to yadi mo drug lagay kushi, but substance abuse to drugs lagay no. You also mentioned about alcohol. Ita bacha class 8 9 pra mutu ka shuru hoye se na. In the third is kudka addiction. Kudka like cigar ki asle talab signature after mixing with nicotine, that is your tobacco. It has become like our national food na ki na jane hoje. Every now and then we have kids, youths, teenagers who are addicted to kudka. So all this will come under substance abuse. So early exposure to substance abuse is also another issue. And let's talk about sexual abuse in Nagaland. We have discussed this a little bit yesterday also, but yes, child sexual abuse is also a problem in Nagaland. And the paradox is increased reporting versus increased incidents. Matlab, yes, registered POCSO cases have trended upward in urban areas like Dimapur and Kohima. But then, you know, over the years, child abuse was heavily shrouded in social stigma. But because of intensive school level awareness program like safe touch, unsafe touch, it also basically school bachakan ki shikayat and we have now child line 109 is very active, and so people and children and parents are increasingly finding the courage to report abuse rather than hiding it. But on the flip side, the Nagaland State Commission for Protection of Child Rights have explicitly cautioned that there is also rapid unmonitored exposure of children to internet and smartphone. This has created entirely new avenues for grooming, online harassment, and exposure to inappropriate content at a very young age. So we have a lot of kids again from the age of 10. They are using their own mobile phones, and when you are in the internet, you get exposed to um, lot of things, and so many things are happening online, which I don't need to tell you, but this is all leading to sexual abuse in Nagaland. Itu chaga na physically abuse kar sexual abuse no hai. Through online also, na directly or indirectly, young kids are groomed by for all these activities. Now, when we come to legal challenges in Nagaland, you can say that again for many years we had a customary compromise, the out of court settlement. So many cases, even today, na out of court settlement gan issue hoy jai se. This is a problem where when serious offenses like child sexual abuse are treated as family disputes, tribal bodies and village elders or clan members or relatives sometimes try to mediate a financial fine or apology to maintain social harmony and avoid public shame. But this cannot be ito compromise ko na bari ito pachalaga abuse case dito. So time and again the Nagaland State Commission for Protection of Child Rights have issued advisory emphasizing that offenses under the POCSO Act are strictly non-bailable and legally cannot be settled through compromise or out of court negotiations. So ito POCSO case to na if you are trying to settle one pokso case through customaries, itu to napare bode. It's not impossible. The here issue is unreported cases can beshi tagibo. Tagibole azito. There will be so many cases of unreported pokso cases in Nagaland, in villages also, in towns also. So itukando mokan aro we need more awareness, more sensitization on these matters. Because pachado nadane, pachado taila rights be nazane, or tayo pui lage, tamurogan gido. So a child will never report. Hardly. Or when the child is now 14, 15 years, itu time dito aro complex situation ekta de ho jay na. 14 years susilo to ita to girlfriend bhi ho jay, boyfriend bhi ho jay. Even though under 18 years, pokso de ahibo. So itu laga gray area ekta je. Maybe 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 years. See. So itu to look, even for us, it's not difficult. By 14, 15, 16 years, adolescents are having multiple partners. They are having physical intimacy, right? So asol do low isap jai shugali do, suppose uh ne, if you really go into the law, suppose you are kimanaze, you are 22 years. Abuni kimana, how many most of you will be like 25 years. Okay, you are 25 years now. You are a male. And suppose you enter into a relationship with someone who is 17 years, Mikey Gan, true love, soulmate. You can call it anything you like. Partner kora manu kora abuni jin hi takibole ase koise. And then you enter into a relationship with this girl, and you have even physical relation. Abuni na true love holibe, soulmate holibe, kiki holibe. Abuni to boxo ek pitode jabote. Abuni to rape has de do. You can be put in jail. Puja se na. Holibe to Nagaland to. I mean, not only Nagaland, but because the act says that it should be 18 years and below, itu gray area ekta olai jai do na. So please don't date anyone who is below 18 years of age, even if this soulmate or true love or whatever it is. Okay, you will land in trouble. So, like I'm saying, there are lots of child abuse cases involving. We know that the child is being abused. Neighbors can be jani, relatives can be jani. Pwede ba magan kili indifferent grupo. Ini ka ho jay na. Why should we interfere in other people's life? Why should we interfere in other people's homes? So, but as concerned citizen, we should know all these child rights. We should know all these acts, and we should report cases. And we know that you think that itu, see, you should also educate like this. Bacha kan ki mukan ama kan goi noe. Strangers kan ki kota nokoribi. Na? Najana manukan ki kota nokoribi. Ajikali tu na, najana manukan tu iku noyo. Asol do uncle, auntie, titi, pai, relatives kan do, teacher kan do. You get what I'm saying? Because a lot of sexual exploitation is happening with kids. Aro itu kan do, jana manukan pray Korea se. The world is going crazy. The amount of people that I mean, I don't know. The world is going crazy, and I don't know. Do sin laga he manifest Korea sina, Satan laga kam Korea sina. Ido all this are because of ido social internet, social media bra sina. But sexual orientation of na ido pui la bra tagisi itia ulai I don't know the reason, but sexual orientation of many people are changing. I don't know for what reason. And I don't want to even discuss about this. Ita do, Mikey, muta do, Mikey logot, milibo mo na husye. I don't know for what reason. এতিয়াতো মোতা লগতে মিলিব মন যায় ঠিক আছে এতিয়াতো মোতাকানটো এইটো বাচ্চাকান লগতে মিলিব মন যায় আছে এইটো বি মোতা বাচ্চাকান I don't know what I mean. It's like all this crazy shit is happening now. এতিয়াতো মাইকী লগতে মিলিব মন যায় আছে তো you see the problem in our land ছাতি কৰিব মন নাই আৰু এতিয়াতো মোতা আৰু মোতাই মিলিবকৈ মাইকী আৰু মাইকী মিলিবকৈ এতিয়াতো আৰু মোৰ জেনেৰেশ্যনটো কেনেকুৱা যাব আগেৰে না so these are the issues I even saw yesterday like the report that it seems there is an app ito app ekta ase naki I don't know the app but I saw in Instagram ito memes laga page ekta dekhi na app ekta ase koiso ito homosexual na ke laga partner kan bisarbo laga app ekta ase koiso ito India de kon state di basis search kurisi kole to Nagaland dia ase koiso I don't know how far this is true but as per the report it appeared to be true okay so aya mo ki ko na I mean like ityado na even for parents even for parents if your kid is a I mean chokra aro maiki dagi shule to maiki laga hostel di pada boli bi itaru tension ase de aru mutta hostel di pada boli bi tension ase because earlier was maiki laga hostel di to mutta kan ahibo na de gona security kan rake aru fine bi kai hai hai mutta kani card kota gibi mutta kan ahibo na debi pitori to apuni ki hoise na jane right so this is the condition that is happening so not only that na ido lesbian aro homosexuality all this to charibyo pedophiles kan olado ko chawala the scene has reached this level so I'm sure that more cases will come ityado na pachakan ki ido uncle logot ragi di bole auntie logot ragi di bole lot tension ho jai ho so a lot of children are traumatized they are being exploited sexually left, right, and center. It's just that their cases are not reported. Okay, we have a commission which is called Nagaland State Commission for Protection of Child Rights under Section 17 of the Commission for Protection of Child Rights Act 2005. We also have a commission in Nagaland which is called Nagaland State Commission for Protection of Child Rights, and we have a chairperson of the commission. The present chairperson is Sir Alon Hansing, and there are 6 members appointed by the state government from various sections of the society. At least 2 of the members must be women. And what the commission does is the commission also operates within the power of a civil court while investigating violations. So the commission will review legal safeguards, like inspect and review the safeguards provided under existing law, like the RDE Act, the POCSO Act, the Juvenile Justice Act, and recommend measures for the effective implementation to the state government. It also inquires into violations. So motu power. So motu means what? Even if there's no complaint, they can go and investigate on their own. The commission can investigate complaints or take so motu notice, acting on its own initiative base, or even if there's a report on the newspaper or some media channels, they can inquire about that case directly. Okay, about child rights. Okay, now that's about the commission. Now let's discuss a little bit about this is the last topic in this section, the drug menace in Nagaland. What is the meaning, nature, and multi-dimensional impact of drug abuse in Nagaland? So this is a little technical, but Upainai, let me try my best to explain. So, and you'll be amazed, okay, at the level of young people, adult people addicted to drugs. So what is drug abuse? Drug abuse means using any chemical substance, whether even if it's a legal medicine like painkiller or cough syrups, or illegal substances like heroin, ganja, or synthetic drugs, whether those are legal medicines or illegal drugs, if you use any chemical substance that harms a person's physical or mental health, that is a drug abuse. For example, if you're taking a prescription painkiller tablet or cough syrup bottle in massive quantities just to get high rather than treating a medical condition. Ito bra Nagaland ito some cough syrup are banned in Nagaland na. Ay do kasi laka taway aje kili ban aje because drug users are abusing this. Tai kasi no korli ito kaya do na tamatam ito ka bichidi he is getting high. That is why these are abuse. So all this is a definition of a drug abuse. Now, what is drug addiction? Drug addiction, let's say this is the advanced stage of abuse. You're abusing the drug for some time, and now you're addicted to the drug, and it is a chronic relapsing brain condition where a person loses control over their drug use. So your body is now dependent on the drugs. The body is now so used to the drug that if a person stops taking the drug, they face severe illnesses like withdrawal symptoms like shivering, extreme body pain, vomiting. Na a drug addict kan itu ba takan kabo lage do. Why drug addict every day takan drugs to kabo lage? Because they are now addicted to it. They have withdrawal symptoms. Takan itu tagalibi na tagan kabuli aje. Whether by stealing or by whatever means, you will have to consume the drug because their body have now started withdrawal symptoms. Itu drug to naga shiguli to takan shiver gorwo. They will have body pain. They will have vomiting. Okay. Now that is why now I've used because I have experienced a lot of drug users in my life. Okay, my neighbors, my relatives, here and there. Drug ka bichidi na manu pal huado alak pal ho jai de. And you will see, aya drug ka manu kani, mutu ka manu pal ase oh. There's a concept like that na in Nagaland na. Taito mutu pishe gai. Taito drugs pishe gai. Hoilibi manu do pal ase. Ini ka ko na makan. Itu ki ajo. Because I'll tell you, whenever a person becomes alcoholic, whenever a person becomes a drug addict, tayo favors lagi do mano lakahat pra because he knows that he cannot sustain on his own, right? Ito bra tayo mukpi mita hoy jay, he becomes a good person outwardly in order to gain favors from you. So he becomes a really good person outwardly. So physical dependence. Next is psychological dependence. So the mind, which controls our body, experiences intense cravings, and it believes it cannot function normally or survive without using the substance. And drug trafficking is the illegal, global, or local trade involving the cultivation, manufacturing, smuggling, distribution, and selling of prohibited substances. It is a highly organized multi-billion-dollar criminal enterprise. So we'll also discuss about drug trafficking in Nagaland. So now I'll tell you, this is like a drug seminar, but upay na ide. Who is a user, who is a drug addict, and who is a drug trafficker? Very simple. Who is a drug user? Someone who consumes drugs. Pimar hodamdi abuni tawai kwado, you are not a drug user. But abuni pimar no hodamdi tawai kailido, you are a drug user. Someone who consumes drugs often occasionally or recreationally. Okay? So abuni do addict do hana, only time to time abuni be edu khai lagi. So you are a drug user. You are still maintaining a level of control over your daily routine. Now, but who is a drug addict? A person who is completely lost control. They are chemically, psychologically dependent on the substance. And their entire day revolves around finding the next dose. And who is a drug trafficker? Drug trafficker, matlab, drug trafficker kan do drug ka manu in gawi no hoy. But he is the person who is now carrying the illegal drug. The person will not necessarily consume the drug, but their sole motive is to financially profit by illegally carrying the drug, selling the drug, and supplying the drug. Okay. Now, why is drug menace more than a law and order problem? Because let's look at some of the effects of drug menace. Number one is from a medical perspective. Drugs kaili do abune brain chemistry can be sab ulda bulda hoi jabo, and then it will not only destroy your brain chemistry, it will not only make you psychologically, physically dependent on the drugs, but it also leads to the physical organ damage. Also, if you are a drug user using needles, then you have a very high chance of contacting various other diseases if you're sharing your needles. So in the 90s, in 2000s, in Nagaland, you will see that heroin, number 4 heroin connecta tagiche. So because of this use, heroin do inject krede, and it led to the increase of HIV, AIDS, and hepatitis C across Nagaland. Tagan drugs cover HIV ahanohe or hepatitis ahanohe, but when they are injecting the drugs, they are sharing the needles. Ekta manu logot inject korbo, same needle do aro ekta manu use korbo na, ekilot boy na. That is why it led to an explosion of HIV cases in Nagaland. Okay, now that is about the medical side. What about the social problem? Family and community perspective. Yes, it tears the social fabric. No? I've seen mothers. I've seen a lot of mothers whose kids are drug addicts. The psychological, emotional turmoil the mother undergoes. Korti ahibo, poisa mangibo, chakra koribo, and the mother, the parents are also living in shame, and also causes domestic violence at home. It breaks marriages, and it also increases lots of crimes in the locality, because drug addict kando drugs to kabo lage, if they run out of money they will steal. Puisa to kodum hilidut, they will even steal your gas cylinder, inverter, everything, because they have to consume drugs. Okay, or most of the drug consumers can do it do, they can syndicate can control over na. So but you see, if you're a drug user, you cannot keep on stealing your chicken, you know, colony daga murki kan kauri kan do kiman chogro abuni na parewo na. So you also become a smuggler. Ito do abuni business tip kusi jawo. Those people at the top na who are controlling this business, abuni ke ito do dependent bonai jawo do. Dependent hobo dibo abuni to you cannot live without drugs, so he will give you your daily dose ekta tuita do abuni ki free kilawo dibo, and then abuni ito chaigina manukan ki drugs to bikri korbo na. And economic burden, if a person is consuming drug na, the amount of money that the person will spend his entire life, imagine. And it also targets the most productive um, section of the society, the youths. So when working age individuals become addicted, they drop out of the workforce, and instead of becoming a productive asset in the society, they turn into economically dependent individuals. Okay, and we also have security problems. So these drug syndicates and drug cartels, they do not operate alone. The illegal cash that is generated from drug trafficking is directly used to buy black market weapons. They also fund underground criminal syndicates and finance cross-border insurgencies. And this is also one of the problems in Nagaland, because a lot of drugs are brought from Myanmar into Manipur in Nagaland through our border. Aro ito kan pisibak to underground elements kan kurita na from before. So since we have the famous Golden Triangle, we are close to Myanmar, Laos, and Thailand. And this is one of the world's largest illicit opium and synthetic drug production hub. And since Nagaland is located at the Golden Triangle, this makes drug trafficking a direct threat to sovereignty and internal security of the state in the nation. Okay, so maybe Into paper di taka is it? Mo ibe sigurado man utika na. But I'll tell you some of the some of the drugs that are used in Nagaland today. First is the heroin, heroin and other opioids, which comes mostly from Myanmar, Thailand, and Laos. So high grade heroin do ityado pusabi tamaze, and then it is not available in large quantity. But brown sugar do it's like an adulterated, cheaper version of heroin. This is rampant in the market. So next is your synthetic drugs and methamphetamine. See, you are talking about first is the heroin. This is synthetic drugs. Madlab, you have ice crystals and yaba tablets. These are purely chemical stimulants manufactured in mega labs across Myanmar border. These are developed in the lab, and heroin will sedate the user. But this synthetic drugs, it will cause a massive unnatural surge in energy and alertness, heavily appealing to younger demographics. So when you consume these drugs, now you will become a little, you will feel as if you have uh, gained superpower, and they are easy since they are small in number, in size. They are easy to hide, they are easy to conceal, they are easy to transport, consume, and this is a very high profit enterprise for drug manufacturers. Now, another issue is pharmacy na in Nagaland, pharmacy bhi drugs to pai jai do, because there are some drugs like tramadol. I'm not a doctor, so I cannot tell you the exact composition of all this. And SP capsules and cough syrup containing codeine. Na itu kan do kai shiguri do in big dosages, drug addiction laga kick ahi jabo. So pharmacy dibi abuse kuri de. Pharmacy dibi, see, Naga people are so sometimes innocent na. Mukando taon de pharmacy dikis dito aya pimar ho manukan tati tawai kininga na pal hoi jai inika mukando papna kore. Pharmacy, when we look at pharmacy, it kind of gives us a hope. But the reality is that most of the pharmacies, I cannot say most, I will be court but I know that there are many pharmacies who is operating just to sell illegal drugs. Ito Kohima di water bottle chips kan pikri kura nishina na. Pahadi do water bottle aze chips aze. Holi be actually they are selling liquor. Ito nishina tawai do pahadi pikri kore. All this holi be ito illegal drugs do pharmacy brabe aro pishi pai jai. Okay, and then we have your ganja, local cannabis, ganja wado, which is cultivated in many parts of Nagaland, Manipur border areas. This is another form of drug use, and the modes of use are injecting drug use. Abuni direct jaigina injection bra maribo pare, and because of this, it's explode hua laga Nagalande, and among the youths, because of peer pressure, lack of recreational spaces, in unmonitored digital exposure, have pushed our youth, our teenagers, into experimenting with pharmaceutical pills and inhalants like correction fluids, whiteners, iniga start korina tagan college pongjarami drug use pishi kori ase. Okay, right now in Nagaland, we have a phenomena which is known as the sunflower phenomena. So sunflower guna drugs ekta moikan ajigali Nagaland pishi popular name ase. It is a local street name for a very low grade, highly adulterated heroin. Sunflower to be heroin ase, but just this heroin though over adulterated korigina, it's like cheap also, and it is having so many toxic agents. It is very cheap, it is highly addictive, and ajigali pustide aro down the youth sunflower drugs pishi kaya. So these are some of the drugs that are consumed in the state. And let's look at the Why Nagaland is vulnerable to drug abuse and trafficking? Let's look at the supply side and demand side. Because for a business to flourish, business is na supply or demand bhi tagibo lagi na. Supply tagili bhi demand na tagi shiguli to drug users can smugglers can do kitya bhi drug to nanibo do na. But demand is there. So when there is demand, there should be supply. So ito tuta to kiniga balance kore. Look, let's look at the supply side dynamics first. Like I'm telling you, Nagaland is located in the Golden Triangle proximity, the intersection of Myanmar, Laos, and Thailand. And this is the world's largest illicit opium and synthetic drug producing regions. And so we have easy access to all these drugs. I don't know about sunflower being called a sunflower. Maybe there's a connection, but I have like not done any deep research into this. Maybe there's a connection because it is coming from that Shan area, na? Itu sunflower, wado sunflower kodisla. I also don't know why it is called as a sunflower. Okay, so this is since we are located so close to the highest and world's largest illicit opium and synthetic drug production regions, Nagaland ito asan aje ahe bole, okay? And it comes via Manipur, pura haibo, aro we have a very big international border, na. Mon is also directly in border de aje, Noglak TV border de aje, and uh, we have districts like Peren and Kohima bordering with Manipur. So Arampura Manipur de hagina idula district kanibi ahigina aste Dimapur bungji shigulido. It is now all over the state. Aro this is the one reason supply side dynamics lagado, and because like of our porous borders in challenging terrain. Because if you look at the border, Nagaland, ito Manipur side to he, take para regulate kura je. But the Nagaland side, Nuklak side, aro ito Mon side, ito kando chungkuli azo na. There are no like walbi nai tate. It is just ekta keti nishna ase, ekta posi nishna ase. Just like idu side to Myanmar ase, idu side to Nagaland ase. Ito ase. So because of all this porous borders, now smugglers can easily bring trucks into Nagaland from Myanmar. And we also have highways can be around anibo pare, because once the drug reaches Dimapur, then after reaching Dimapur, it just goes to every district in the state. So ito laga aze, and then let's look at the demand side. Why are our youths addicted to drugs? Because of unemployment and structural bottlenecks. See, and more young people, more and more young people will go for drug and alcohol addiction in the future, because ajikali dunia de itya, for a person to have some meaning, for some person to have some meaning in life, taibi ekta kam tu koribo lage na. Aro our youth are facing a lot of unemployment issues. There is no diverse economic avenues for the youths. Apuni graduate korbo, apuni school jabo. After you pass class 10, 12, apuni ki korbo? Apuni korbo le ko nai. There are no heavy industries or there are no factories. There are no avenues for the youths. Na kiti bhi korbo mon nai. To apuni frustrated ho jabo, and then you become depressed, right? And itu laga situation de, now you are highly vulnerable to drug addiction. Itu bi ekta. Secondly, itu, since you're also looking for income, you're also looking for income. Now, drug business is highly lucrative. You also go into this business for looking for income. No, right? And at the same time, young people, we are now spending like 10 hours. Some of us are spending 10 hours using mobile games kilibo, nohile bhi alag alag games kilibo. Now our youths are so addicted to mobile that the very first thing that our hands are reaching for in the morning, even before we wake up, is our mobile phone. Mobile phone is the last thing that we use before going to bed. So mobile phone has become so addicted. But using mobile phone is altering our brain chemistry. Itu dopamine laga, inflow kan laga, itu kan sok to brain chemistry laga. We have so many brain chemicals inside our brain, our dopamine, our oxytocin, our serotonin, our endorphins, all this are getting ulta pulta ho jai, itu kan all, and now We are now easily depressed. There are so many youths who are into depression, anxiety, trauma, and because of all this, drugs kaishiguli to ekdam temporarily relief ho jai na. So drug to it also see this drug addiction it solves unemployment. Meaning, abuli drug business jabe and you earn like 40 to 50,000 in a month, na? And it also solves your depression. No be other health issues. To kill it drugs nakabo. Ito youth can be drugs kaya ze. Okay? We also have peer pressure, glamorization, youth experimentation. Young people, they also want to experience with drugs and like all these other sectors are psychological and social factors. So when youths are migrating from urban, rural areas to urban areas, they can, traditional community safety net এতিয়া তো আমাৰ পাবা লগা সুগতি নাই community la সুগতি নাই ডিমাপুৰ গৈ মাদি আহি কিনা তাকান কৰ পাৰা দি পয় আছে নহলিবি নিজৰ লগা এতিয়া কি আন্দি পয় আছে they have become hostel kan di poi ase so there's no one to control them it one laga reason can be ase this for all the drug abuse that is happening in Nagaland. So, what are the socio-economic impact of drug problem in Nagaland? Individuals laga dibi problem ho jai because addiction, it leads to addiction, physical, mental health problems, loss of education and employment on families, financial problem on the family. It leads to domestic violence, domestic conflict, neglect of children, and breakdown of relationships, society. It increases crime, violence, school dropout, unemployment, and social instability, public health, injecting drug use, HIV, AIDS, hepatitis, all these are increasing because of drug use. On security and governance, so we have trafficking networks, organized crime are increasing. It is a big burden on the police and prisons, and it, drug users also have possible links with other illegal activities in the state. So, very quickly, let's discuss this last topic before we end the class for today. Drug menace or HIV/AIDS laga relation to ki ase. Nagaland is the second highest adult HIV prevalence rate in India. Itu ki ase oh Nagaland ko to Christian state ase koi na. Kuli bi kile itu biya dihi number one. Ke laga search dibi number one. Drug addiction dito number one no number two ase. Dibi kuli bi number two is number two, right? Corruption hoili do tatibi aro top five dibo aibo. That's okay. So even in HIV/AIDS prevalence in India, Nagaland is the second highest. I think the first highest is, if I'm not mistaken, Mizoram. Must be Mizoram, and followed by Nagaland. Both are Christian states. Congratulations, which is nearly seven times. Okay, now um, because of we have injecting drug users, needle inject lagado, sharing of needles, which leads to injecting drug users will share needles, which will lead to spread of various other diseases. So this is a link between drug use and HIV transmission. Shared needles transfer blood containing the virus directly into the bloodstream of another individual. So don't think that HIV is happening because of unprotected sex. Unprotected sex probably hoyazi. But again, using and sharing needles is also another way to spread HIV/AIDS in Nagaland. So in order to help all this drug problem related, the state government is also national level debate. There are so many acts. The state government has also got lots of other programs in order to deal with drug addiction. Very famous, Aruna, a very famous and practical solution is this OST. Whether you're aware or not, Olivier, OST in every district, in every subdivision, there is an OST. OST matlab opioid substitution therapy. Okay. Now, drug users, if this person is a drug user, tai do drugs to kabo lage na, tai drugs kabo lage, and he is spending around rupees maybe 2,000 per day, right? Aro tai do puisa do napai, he will go and steal also. He will also sell drugs. So because of his drug addiction, it is causing so many other problems in the society. Puja na? Now there is a program called OST program. OST program. OST program means this person. Now listen. This person, he is spending rupees 2,000 in a day. He is also spreading diseases. He is also doing drug business and spreading more drugs in the community. He is influencing other people to consume and buy drugs. Now under the OST program, and we have so many youths, so many people registered under the OST program. Under the OST program, it is under the control of medical department, district hospital laga te bishipak te takibo, holibi CHCTV, all this. Itu, oh, where's our drug addict person? He just disappeared. Who did you do? Oh, okay. No issue. We'll try again. So this person now, if he is registered in the OST, itu OST kando every morning he will be given the drug. Now, this is not illegal. He will be given an OST drug. Okay? Suppose it is like 3 mg divoidia. Aru tai itu OST drug to tai kabo. After that, tai kick to pabo all this, and he will not spend money every day. He will not go and sell drugs. He will not do any other crime. Puja na? Aro aste it will reduce the dose 2.9, 2.7, 2.5 iniga dose to aste reduce korina tai do rehabilitate koridi. So this is a very good program, right? So this is the opioid substitution therapy. It is there. It is there in all the districts. Yes, implementation part te loopholes ase. Ito bhi ase. Itya aya ki kobo na drugs ka manukan ki kore goli do OST drug to tagan moi to everyday aibo na paribo OST to moi ki do 2 weeks laga dibi kobo 2 weeks laga loi jabo aro itu OST drug to ulta tai manukan ki bikri korna tai aro paisa kamai lo itu la issue bi ekta ase. Some drug users takan OST do aro takan kori jagina pura mihin koribo mihin korina injection di taligina aro maribo. It wants, so there are some loopholes and abuse of all this, but there are people who have been rehabilitated from drug addiction because of OST program. And we also have the integrated counseling and testing centers where voluntarily utilized by high-risk individuals to get confidential pre and post counseling and regular screening. And now HIV positive hasigolido, we have the ART treatment. Ajikali do poila 1990s ti do AIDS holi do aya corona holi. Ajikali do AIDS to iko no na. We have treatment for AIDS. Cure do corona bari, but then we can prolong if you are HIV positive with 40 years by having this therapy, art therapy, you can live comfortably till 80 to 90 years. Duki HIV ne taka manukan bi 80 to 90 years taki wo, right? So HIV AIDS to poila nishina inika kiba noy. The most dangerous disease I think today is ido cancer or diabetes kani asanage. So if I were given a choice, I think I would rather have HIV AIDS than cancer. No. So we have antiretroviral therapy for HIV AIDS patient. Why are we discussing HIV AIDS while we're discussing about drug addiction? Because these two are interrelated. Okay. Now we have the legal framework. Okay, just have some patience with me. I'll just finish this part and we will end the class. India Dido, which act controls this? Now we have the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances NTPS Act 1985. This act is for all anti-drug operations in India. So punishments can kiniga dibo, all this are given here. For example, if you're possessing around 200 grams of heroin, it will carry a rigorous imprisonment sentence of 10 to 20 years. So what are the cognizable and non-payable offenses? All these are mentioned here under the NTPS Act. And government schemes to district level de tinta charta thakibo, which is first is called the National Action Plan for Drug Demand Reduction. So this is like the umbrella scheme. For example, for women we have Mission Shakti, Pachakan Gani we have Mission Vatsalya, and for drug and substance abuse we have NAB DDR, which is called National Action Plan for Drug Demand Reduction. So all this preventive education, awareness, sensitization, capacity building, all this are taken under this scheme, which is called NABDDR. In the district level, we have Nashamuk Bharat Abhiyan. Every district in Nagaland, we receive around 10 lakhs every year to carry out this activity. So these activities are carried out in schools and various colleges for awareness programs, seminars, okay? And this is implemented by the Social Welfare Department under the direction of the Deputy Commissioner. And we also have drug addiction and rehabilitation centers, which are also um, helped by the government. So under the national NAPDDR, we have the state utilizes integrated rehabilitation centers for addicts and outreach and drop-in centers to provide safe detoxification and counseling. And we have rehabilitation centers like Kripa Foundation in Kohima, and there are so many other foundations and um, so many centers in the state that helps with drug addicts. A very famous drug addiction rehabilitation center in Peren is called Operation Salvage. Operation Salvage. Ito to government bra kola noe. This is located at Hinikonglo in Peren district. This is not opened by the government. And Operation Salvage, ito to holibe. This is actually opened by NACN IM because NACN IM pe takan laga cadres kando truck addicts kan bishi lagi na. Ito bra takan bra hai Operation Salvage kando kuli kina. And this is again very successful drug rehabilitation centers in the state. The government does not directly help or aid this. Will be naga public kan drug addicts kan bishi ya dijay. Okay. Into the public kan he bishi boy Operation Salvage day or they get rehabilitated from drug addiction. And there are centers like Kripa Foundation and so many other centers which keeps my mind in the moment, which helps for rehabilitation of drug addicts. Okay, so tomorrow, I want an opinion from you to for tomorrow. What do we do? Morning now. Honestly, I also want to watch the Mexico England match. So option is we start at 8 a.m. or in the evening we start by 6:30. Which one? Okay, okay. So I'll go by majority. So evening. Okay, so if you're saying evening, then let's start by 6:30. Okay, we will start the class by 6:30, and we will discuss some questions from here, and then go to the heritage art and culture heritage class. Okay, so that's it for this morning. I'll see you tomorrow evening.